The rain hammered down on the cracked sidewalk of Brooklyn's back alleys like it was trying to wash away the sins of the city. But it only made the shadows deeper, the despair thicker. I spotted him first, a crumpled figure huddled against a dumpster, his soaked trench coat clinging to a frame that looked like it had been carved from marble but left out in the storm too long. His eyes, when they cracked open, weren't the hollow voids I'd seen in so many street-worn faces. They were wild, fractured, like a man staring into the abyss of his own forgotten life, whispering, "Ryan, don't let me go. I never planned on being the guy who picks up strays, not the four-legged kind. Anyway." But that night, after a double shift slinging overpriced craft beers at the dive bar on Atlantic Avenue, the universe decided to throw me a curveball named Justin. Or at least, that's the name he mumbled when I crouched down beside him, my own jacket pulled tight against the chill that seeped into my bones like regret. "Buddy, you okay?" My voice came out rougher than I intended, laced with that New York edge you can't shake even if you try. He flinched, his head snapping up so fast I thought he'd crack his skull on the metal behind him. Up close, he was a mess. Stubble shadowing a jawline that could have graced a billboard, lips cracked and blue from the cold, and those eyes, hazel flecked with gold, like autumn leaves caught in a hurricane. They locked onto mine with an intensity that made my stomach twist. "Ryan." It wasn't a question. It was a lifeline, tossed out into the dark. He reached for me, fingers trembling, brushing my sleeve like he was afraid I'd vanish if he gripped too hard. "You came back." "God, I knew you would." I froze. I'd never seen this guy in my life. 28 years in this concrete jungle, dodging tourists and traffic, and not once had I crossed paths with someone who looked at me like I was his anchor in a sinking ship. Not, man. Name's Ryan. Yeah. But I think you're mixing me up with somebody else. You need a hospital or something?" He shook his head violently, water flying from his matted hair. No, it's us. The vows, the ring. You promised." His voice cracked on the last word, and something in me splintered too. Vows? Ring? This dude was either high as a kite or the victim of some cruel cosmic joke. I glanced around the alley. No one else, just the distant wail of sirens and the relentless drum of rain. Leaving him there felt wrong, like stepping over a crack and cursing your own luck. "All right, look," I said, hauling him up with more effort than I expected. He was heavier than he looked, all lean muscle under that drenched coat. "You can crash at my place till the storm blows over. Get you dry, call a dock in the morning. But no funny business. Got it?" He nodded, clinging to my arm like it was the only solid thing left in his world. As we stumbled toward my beat-up Chevy parked a block away, he kept murmuring my name, fragments of sentences tumbling out like puzzle pieces from a shattered box. The cabin in the Catskills. That fight about the job in Seattle. You always hated the rain, but you stayed for me. Each one landed like a punch, because none of it rang a bell. My life was a far cry from cabins and cross-country moves. A shoebox apartment in Bed-Stuy, a string of dead-end gigs, and a string of exes who'd ghosted faster than you could say commitment issues. By the time we made it up the 3 flights of creaky stairs to my place, he was shivering so hard his teeth chattered. I flicked on the single bulb in the living room, the kind that buzzes like it's judging you, and shoved a towel at him. "Strip. I'll throw your stuff in the dryer." He hesitated, those eyes searching mine again, but the cold won out. As his coat hit the floor, I caught a glimpse of faded tattoos snaking up his forearm. A compass rose, thorny vines wrapping around it like they were trying to choke the direction out of him. While he showered, steam fogging up the tiny bathroom, I rifled through my fridge for something resembling food. Half a pizza from 2 nights ago and a 6-pack of IPAs that had seen better days. When he emerged, wrapped in my 2 big Brooklyn Dodgers hoodie and sweatpants that hung low on his hips, he looked almost human. Almost vulnerable. "Thanks, Ree," he said, sinking onto the sagging couch like it was home. "I knew you'd take care of me." I handed him a slice, cold and congealed, and cracked open a beer for myself. "So, what's your story? And don't say married to me, because that's some next-level delusion." He chewed slowly, gazed distant, like he was fishing in a murky pond for memories that kept slipping away. "Justin. That's me. Justin Hale. And you? You're Ryan Whitaker. We met at that poetry slam in the village. Remember, you recited that piece about lost boys in the city, and I bought you a drink after. We've been together 5 years. Eloped in Vegas on a whim, then made it official in Jersey last summer." His words flowed earnest, detailed, painting a picture of a life I envied even as it baffled me. 5 years? Eloped? My longest relationship had been 6 months with a graphic designer who bailed when I couldn't afford Coachella tickets. "Dude," I laughed, but it came out hollow. "I appreciate the fanfic, but I'm single as hell. Work at a bar. Crash here alone most nights. No elopements. No poetry slams. Unless you count the haikus I scribble on napkins during slow shifts." I pulled out my phone, half tempted to Google him, but the Wi-Fi was spotty, and honestly, what was I searching for? Amnesiac husband seeks plot twist? Justin's face crumpled, not in anger, but in that quiet devastation that hits harder than a scream. He set the pizza down untouched and curled into himself, knees to chest. "Then why do I remember? The way you laugh when you're nervous. How you trace circles on my back when we fight. The scar on your knuckle from that glass you broke proposing." His finger ghosted over my right hand, right where a jagged white line bisected the skin from a bar fight 3 years back. Coincidence? Or something weirder? I yanked my hand away, heart pounding like I'd chugged a Red Bull. "Stop. This isn't funny. You hit your head or something. Concussion plays tricks. Tomorrow, we'll get you checked out. Find your real people." But even as I said it, doubt crept in. His touch lingered, warm against the chill I'd carried in from the rain. That first night, he crashed on the couch, and I lay in my bed staring at the water-stained ceiling, listening to his even breaths filter through the thin walls. Sleep dodged me like a cab in rush hour. Who was this guy? Really? And why did his broken memories feel like they were stitching themselves into the empty spots in my own life? Morning came gray and unforgiving, coffee brewing in the chipped pot that was my lifeline. Justin shuffled in, hair a glorious mess, and for a second, he smiled bright, unguarded, like sunshine cracking through clouds. "Morning, love." "Pancakes." He rummaged in my cabinets like he'd stocked them himself, pulling out Bisquick I'd forgotten I had. I watched him, spatula in hand, flipping circles of batter with a practiced ease that made my kitchen feel less like a war zone. "You always burn the edges," he said over his shoulder. "Says it gives character." And damn if my chest didn't tighten. No one had cooked for me since Mom, back before the divorce scattered us like dice. We ate in silence at first, the sizzle of bacon the only soundtrack. Then he set his fork down. "I'm serious. I know it sounds crazy, Ryan, but it feels real. All of it. What if What if we're soulmates, and the universe is giving us a do-over? Romantic bullshit, straight out of a rom-com, but delivered with such raw hope it stuck in my throat. By noon, I called in sick to the bar, first time in months, and dragged him to the free clinic 2 blocks over. The doc, a harried woman with a stethoscope like a noose, poked and prodded, shone lights in his eyes. Amnesia, likely retrograde from trauma. Could be a blow to the head. Stress, who knows? Memories might trickle back. Or not. Keep him hydrated. Watch for headaches. No magic fix. Just a prescription for rest and a pamphlet on supporting loved ones through cognitive loss. Loved ones. The word hung in the air as we walked back. Justin's hand brushing mine accidentally or not. See, we're in this together, he said, squeezing once before letting go. That afternoon, I showed him around the neighborhood. The bodega where I grabbed my morning bagel, the park where old-timers played dominoes under the sycamores. He soaked it in like a sponge, pointing out spots that we had shared, a bench by the fountain where we'd first kissed, the mural on the warehouse wall that inspired your tattoo. I had no ink, but his enthusiasm was infectious, a balm on the loneliness I'd worn like a second skin. As dusk fell, painting the sky in bruised purples, we ended up on my fire escape, beers in hand, the city humming below. He leaned against the railing, wind tousling his hair. Tell me about you, the real you. Not the one in my head. I shrugged, staring at the lights flickering on across the river. Boring stuff. Grew up in Queens. Dad split when I was 10. Mom worked doubles at the hospital. I bounced around community colleges, majored in nothing, ended up pouring drinks. Dreams to open my own spot someday. Something with live music and no cover charge. Gay as hell. Out since 16. But love's been elusive. The admission slipped out easy, surprising me. Vulnerability wasn't my brand. Justin's gaze softened, turning to me fully. That sounds like the Ryan I know. Fierce, funny, fighting for scraps but never settling. He paused, then added softly, I love you, you know. Even if you don't remember it yet. My beer went warm in my grip. Part of me wanted to laugh it off, ship him to a shelter by dawn. But another part, the lonely, aching part, whispered to let him stay. Just one more night. That night, as thunder rumbled distant threats, he knocked on my bedroom door. Can't sleep. Nightmares. His voice was small, stripped bare. I scooted over without a word, the mattress dipping under his weight. He curled against my side, head on my shoulder, breath evening out fast. I lay awake, his warmth seeping through the thin sheet, wondering if this was madness or mercy. By week's end, he'd woven himself into the fabric of my days. He tagged along to the bar, charming tipsy patrons with stories that blurred the line between his fiction and my reality. Tales of road trips down Route 66, lazy Sundays in bed with takeout Thai. I caught myself laughing, really laughing, for the first time in ages. And the touches. A hand on my lower back as we navigated crowds, fingers lacing with mine under the table. Each one sent sparks skittering up my spine, awakening hungers I'd buried under shifts and solitude. But cracks showed. He'd wake gasping some nights, clutching the sheets, muttering names that weren't mine. Elena? Mark? Before dissolving into apologies. Just dreams. Nothing real. I'd hold him then, murmuring nonsense until he settled, but doubt festered like a bruise. One evening, after closing, We walked home buzzed on cheap whiskey shots. The air was crisp, fall nipping at summer's heels, leaves crunching underfoot. He stopped under a street lamp, pulling me close. "Marry me again," he whispered, lips brushing my ear. "Make it stick this time." Heart slamming, I kissed him. It was inevitable, that collision, soft at first, then fierce. Tongues tangling with the desperation of two men grasping at ghosts. His hands roamed my back, pulling me flush, and for a moment, the world narrowed to the taste of him. Salt and smoke and something sweeter, like forgotten promises. We tumbled into my apartment, clothes shedding like inhibitions, bodies mapping each other in the dark. He knew me, every scar, every sensitive spot, like we'd rehearsed this 1,000 times. When we collapsed, spent and tangled, he traced my collarbone, voice husky. "See, we're forever." I wanted to believe it. God, I did. But as his breathing deepened into sleep, a sliver of moonlight caught the compass tattoo on his arm, the vines twisting tighter, pointing north to truths I wasn't ready to chase. Weeks blurred into a rhythm I hadn't known I craved. Mornings with burnt-edged pancakes and stolen kisses over coffee mugs. Afternoons exploring the city like tourists in our own backyard. Ferry rides to Staten Island. Hole-in-the-wall dim sum in Chinatown where he'd feed me dumplings with chopsticks, grinning like he'd won the lottery. Justin fit into my life like a key I'd lost years ago, turning locks I didn't know were rusted shut. The bar crowd adored him. He'd perch on a stool, sketching caricatures of regulars on napkins, his artist's hands quick and sure. "You always said I had magic fingers," he'd wink, and I'd flush, remembering how those fingers felt unraveling me under starless skies. But love, real or imagined, doesn't come without its barbs. My best friend, Lena, a tattooed firecracker who'd tended bar with me since we were legal, cornered me one slow Tuesday. "Spill, Whitaker. Who's the pretty boy crashing your pity party?" She lit a cigarette outside the back door, exhaling smoke like judgment. I leaned against the brick, the alley smelling of garbage and garlic from the Italian joint next door. "His name's Justin. Found him half dead in the rain. Amnesia. Thinks we're hitched." It sounded absurd saying it aloud, like a plot from one of those Lifetime movies Mom devoured. Lena's eyebrows shot up, ash flicking to the pavement. "And you're playing house, Ryan? You're the king of casual hookups, not this Hallmark bullshit. What if he's some psycho with a wife and kids back in Ohio?" Her words landed like ice water, dousing the warm glow I'd been basking in. "He's not. Docs say it's legit trauma-induced. And it's nice having someone." The admission stung. I'd always prided myself on independence, that lone wolf swagger New Yorkers wear like armor. But Justin had slipped under it, soft and insistent. She stubbed out her smoke, eyes narrowing. "Just be careful. Yeah. Love's a bitch when it's built on sand." She hugged me quick, fierce, before vanishing into the night. That doubt trailed me home like a shadow. Justin was waiting, dinner steaming on the stove, spaghetti carbonara, from a recipe he'd always made for anniversaries. We ate cross-legged on the floor, candles guttering on the coffee table scavenged from a stoop sale. Midway through, he set his plate aside, crawling over to straddle my lap, hands framing my face. "You're quiet tonight. What's eating you?" I searched his eyes, those hazel depths that pulled me under. "Lena thinks you're trouble. Says I should verify your story." Honesty felt like betrayal, but lies were heavier. His laugh was low, rueful. Smart woman. Wish I could prove it. Wallet, ID, all gone when I woke up behind that dumpster. But he leaned in, forehead to mine. Feel this. His hand pressed over my heart, then his own. That's proof enough. We made love right there on the rug. Slow and deliberate, bodies speaking what words fumbled. Afterward, wrapped in a blanket fort of our own making, he whispered stories of us. A road trip to New Orleans where we danced in the streets during Mardi Gras. The time I nursed him through flu in a blizzard-bound cabin. Each tale chipped at my skepticism, building a bridge over the chasm of his lost years. But bridges burn easy. It started small. A headache that bent him double one morning, him clutching his temples while I brewed ginger tea. Flashes, he gasped. A woman laughing. Red hair. But it's not you, feels wrong. I held him, stroking his back, but the seed Lena planted sprouted thorns. Then came the night he vanished. I pulled a late shift, covering for a no-show, stumbling home at 2 a.m. To an empty apartment, the couch pillows askew. His sketchpad flipped open to a half-finished portrait of me. Fierce eyes, crooked smile. Panic clawed my gut. I tore through the streets, calling his name into the wind-whipped dark. Phone buzzing with ignored texts from Lena. Where's your ghost hubby? I found him 3 blocks away, on the same bench by the fountain he'd claimed as our first kiss spot. He was rocking, arms wrapped tight, mumbling. Not real. None of it. Rain slicked his hair, but he didn't seem to notice. Justin, I dropped beside him, pulling him into my chest. What the hell? You scared me shitless. He looked up, eyes glassy with tears mingling with rain. I remembered something. A fight screaming about lies, about me leaving for LA. With someone else. But the face. It wasn't yours. Ryan, what if I'm not who I think? The vulnerability gutted me. I cupped his face, thumbs swiping at the wet trails. Then we figure it out. Together. No more running. He nodded, burying his face in my neck. And we sat there until the storm broke. City lights reflecting off puddles like scattered diamonds. Back home, he begged me not to let go. First time he'd said it outright. Promise you won't abandon us. Our marriage. Even if it's all in my head. His voice broke, hands fisting my shirt. I promise. I lied. Because in that moment, felt true. We fell into bed, clinging like survivors. His pleas echoing soft against my skin. Don't leave me. Please. Don't leave. The begging became ritual. Every night a variation on the theme. Sometimes whispered in the dark, fingers tracing my spine. Others, fervent against my lips mid-kiss, eyes wide with phantom fears. It should have unnerved me, that desperation, but instead it bound us tighter, a velvet rope around our throats. Fall deepened, leaves turning the parks into fire, and so did we. I introduced him to my world fully. Thanksgiving at Lena's cramped walk-up, where he carved the turkey with flair and charmed her skeptical ass by the pie course. Okay, he's a keeper, she conceded later, clinking bottles with me on her stoop. But if he turns stalker, I'm calling the cops. Winter loomed, first snow dusting the fire escape like powdered sugar. We bundled up for a walk in Prospect Park, breath fogging the air, mittened hands swinging between us. He stopped by the frozen lake, pulling a small box from his pocket, a ring, simple silver band etched with coordinates. From our elopement. Found it in my coat lining. For you. My throat closed. It was beautiful, cold against my palm. Justin. I slid it on, the weight foreign yet right. We kissed there, snowflakes melting on our lashes, and for the first time, I let myself imagine forever not as a trap, but a harbor. But harbors have storms. Late one night, phone buzzing on the nightstand yanked me from sleep. Unknown number, Brooklyn area code. I answered groggy, Justin stirring beside me. Yeah, a woman's voice, sharp as shattered glass. Is this Ryan Whitaker? I'm looking for Justin Hale. This is his sister, Maria. He went missing months ago. Please, if you know anything. The world tilted. Justin bolted upright, eyes wide. Maria. He snatched the phone, voice cracking. Sis, it's me. God, it's me. I dressed in the bathroom, splashing water on my face, staring at the ring glinting accusingly. Sister. Missing. Real life crashing the dream like a drunk at last call. When he emerged, phone clutched like a grenade. His face was ashen. She says I vanished after a bender in Manhattan. Family in Philly. Job as a graphic designer. No wife. No elopement. Just me, running from a bad breakup. He sank to the bed, head in hands. All the memories of us. Fabricated. I'm sorry. I ruined everything. Ruined? Or revealed? I knelt before him, tilting his chin up. Hey. Doesn't change this. I tapped his chest, then mine. What we built here, it's real, even if the backstory's bullshit. But his eyes, those hazel storms, darkened. What if I don't deserve it? What if I'm just borrowing your life till mine catches up? We talked till dawn, words weaving and unraveling. He begged again that night, voice raw, don't abandon me. Not now. Please. I held him, whispering promises, but sleep came fitful, dreams haunted by red-haired ghosts and coordinates leading nowhere. Maria arrived 2 days later, a whirlwind of dark curls and no-nonsense energy, hugging Justin like she'd bury him if he vanished again. She eyed me over coffee, praising. Heard you saved his ass. Thanks. But he's got issues, depression, impulse shit. We've been searching since summer. Justin hovered, fidgeting, but when she left tickets for a train back to Philly, he balked. I'm staying. With Ryan. This is home now, she sighed, squeezing his hand. Don't ghost us again, Jay. Family's family. Then to me, softer, take care of him. Or we'll have words. Alone again, the air thickened with unspoken fears. Our touches turned tentative, kisses laced with hesitation. Yet the begging persisted, fiercer now, as if he sensed the fraying edges. Marry me for real, he'd plead some nights, ring pressed to my lips. Make me yours before I remember why I can't be. I wanted to. Christ, I ached to. But doubt was a thief, stealing sleep, souring the sweetness. And then, the betrayal, no. The truth hit like a freight train. It started with a sketchpad. Justin's, the one I'd flipped through idly on lazy Sundays, pages filled with faces. Mine mostly, but others too. A redhead with a megawatt smile. A burly guy with a beard like a lumberjack. Scenes of sun-soaked beaches and cityscapes that screamed West Coast. I chalked them up to his memories bleeding into art. But one afternoon, while he napped off a headache, curiosity won. I traced the lines, heart sinking at captions scrawled in margins. Elena, Our first fight, 2018. Beach house, Santa Monica. Mark, the one who got away, NYC 15. Elena, the name from his nightmares. I slammed the pad shut, guilt gnawing, but the damage was done. Who was this man I'd let rewrite my solitude? That night, as he curled against me, breath warm on my neck, I feigned sleep, mind racing like a subway at rush hour. The next morning, he caught me staring at the ring on my finger, twisting it like a noose. What's wrong? Talk to me. I pulled the sketch pad from the shelf, pages splayed open to Elena's portrait. Her. Who's she? Really? And don't feed me your amnesia line. This predates the rain-soaked epiphany. His face drained of color, hands trembling as he took the book. Flashes. Coming back in pieces. Was my fiancée. 3 years ago, LA. We were good, till I cheated with Mark, an old flame visiting from New York. The confession hung heavy, eyes pleading for absolution. I ran after that. Booze, bad decisions, ended up homeless in your alley. The us in my head? It was me punishing myself, grafting my guilt onto you. The first kind face in the storm. Betrayal, sharp as a switchblade, sliced deep. Not just his past sins, but the lie we'd built our fragile world on. So all of it, the vows, the cabin, the love, fabricated to cope. My voice cracked, anger and hurt tangling like headphone cords. He dropped to his knees, grasping my hands. No, the feelings, those are real. You made me remember how to feel safe, wanted. Please, Ryan, don't let this end us. Our marriage, even if it's pretend, don't abandon it. Tears streaked his cheeks, that desperate beg twisting the knife further. I wrenched free, storming to the fire escape, city sprawl mocking me below. Pretend. The word echoed, souring every memory. Pancakes, park walks, the way he'd hum off-key to my shower serenades. Yet beneath the rage, a thread of empathy tugged. He was broken, same as me, two lost boys grasping at straws in a world that chewed up dreamers. He followed, voice shattered. I know I fucked up, past and present. But you're the first person who's seen me, not the mess. Give me a chance to earn it. We talked for hours, raw and unfiltered, peeling back layers like onions. His childhood in Philly suburbs, stifled by expectations. The closet until college, coming out amid screams and slammed doors. The cycle of bad loves chasing validation. I shared mine. Dad's abandonment carving hollows no amount of hustling filled, the parade of hookups masking the ache for more. By nightfall, truce fragile as glass. He'd see a therapist, chase real memories. I'd try forgiveness, not force a fairy tale. But peace was fleeting. Maria called weekly, updates laced with worry. He's spiraling again. Ryan. Bring him home. Justin resisted, digging heels. But I saw the toll, nights he'd wake thrashing, apologies spilling like confessions. The begging evolved, laced with self-loathing. Don't leave me to this void. You're my anchor. Please. Holiday lights twinkled prematurely on stoops, a reminder of time slipping. We decorated my place on a whim, stringing popcorn garlands, a lopsided tree from the corner lot. Amid the chaos, he pulled me under the mistletoe I'd tacked up ironically, kiss deepening into something primal, reaffirming. Merry Christmas, husband, he murmured, and for a heartbeat, I let the word land soft. Then came the letter. Slipped under the door one gray December dawn. Envelope crisp, addressed to Justin Hale in elegant script. He tore it open, face paling as he read aloud. My dearest Jay, it's been 6 months since you vanished. I know about the affair, the lies, but I forgive you. Come back to LA. We can fix this. Love always, Elena. The room spun. Elena, fiancé, not ex, apparently. Forgiveness offered like a lifeline, yanking at the one we'd forged. Justin crumpled the paper, eyes wild. She must have tracked Maria. But it's over. I choose you. Do I believe him? The question festered, poisoning dinners, turning touches tentative. Lena noticed, pulling me aside at the bar. He's a hurricane, babe. Hot and destructive. You deserve steady. I'd never had it, but craved it now, terrifyingly. That night, as snow blanketed the city in hush, Justin begged anew, body pressed to mine in the dark. Don't let her take me from you. Our marriage, it's the only real thing I've got. His voice broke on a sob, hands clutching like claws. I held him, whispering, we'll fight for it, but doubt whispered louder. Days blurred, therapy sessions he attended dutifully, reporting progress, memories resurfacing, Elena's laugh no longer a ghost but a specter. Yet our love deepened in defiance, stolen moments fierce with urgency, sex like salvation, mornings tangled in sheets, planning futures that felt borrowed. New Year's Eve found us on a rooftop party in Williamsburg, fireworks blooming over the East River like defiant stars. Champagne fizzed, crowds cheered, and he pulled me into a shadowed corner, ring glinting as he dropped to one knee. For real this time. Marry me, Ryan. No pretenses. Tears pricked my eyes, joy, fear, a cocktail of both. Yes, I breathed, pulling him up into a kiss that drowned the world. Cheers erupted around us, oblivious, but in that bubble, it was ours. January brought the storm. Elena arrived unannounced, stepping from a cab like a vision from his sketches, red hair cascading, green eyes sharp with determination. She stood in my doorway, coat dusted with airport snow, voice steady. I need to see him. Please. Justin emerged, frozen in the hall, then rushed her into a hug that looked too familiar, too right. I retreated to the kitchen, eavesdropping on murmurs, apologies, tears, promises unpacked like old luggage. When they emerged, her hand in his, she turned to me. Thank you for saving him. But he belongs with family, with me. We were engaged, Ryan. That's not amnesia. That's life. Betrayal. Round 2. Hit systemic. He'd lied again, not outright, but by omission, by letting her words rewrite our vows. You choose now, I choked, voice raw. Justin's eyes pleaded. That eternal beg. No. Don't abandon us. This is closure, not comeback. But as she led him out, promising therapy in LA, his grip on her hand said otherwise. The door clicked shut, echoing like a guillotine. I sank to the floor, ring heavy on my finger, the apartment vast and empty. Every night replayed, his whispers, his touches, the marriage we'd hallucinated into being. Human frailty, laid bare, love as illusion, betrayal as the architect. Weeks passed in numb autopilot, bar shifts blending into blackouts, Lena force-feeding me takeout and tough love. He was a fever dream, Ryan. Time to wake up, but fever dreams leave scars, and mine throbbed with what-ifs. Then, the call. March thaw melting ice, his voice on the line, cracked and distant. I can't do it. Elena's good, but it's not home. It's you. I'm coming back. Please. Don't close the door. Heart in throat. I whispered, hurry. Spring erupted in Brooklyn like a rebellion. Cherry blossoms rioting pink against the gray tenements, air thick with promise and pollen. Justin's return was a whirlwind. Train pulling in at Penn Station, him barreling through the crowd with a duffel and desperation in his stride. We collided in the throng, arms locking, kisses frantic amid oblivious commuters. I tried, he gasped against my lips. Tried being the man she wanted. But every night, I begged the dark not to let me forget you. Back in the apartment, we reclaimed each inch. Fire escape confessions under budding vines. Nights where his pleas turned to vows. Real ones, whispered over takeout and tangled sheets. Marry me proper, he'd say. Ring refitted like a talisman. No more ghosts. Therapy bridged the gaps. Joint sessions in a sunlit office overlooking the Gowanus. Unpacking his betrayals. My walls. Elena faded to footnote. A chapter closed with mutual grace. Her last email a benediction. He loves you fiercely. Hold on. Forgiveness. Humanistic in its quiet power. Mended fractures I thought permanent. But love's not linear. It's a maze with dead ends. Conflicts brewed subtle. His freelance gigs pulling late hours. My bar life clashing with dreams of stability. Arguments flared over money, space, the phantom weight of his past. You think I'm still running? He'd snap, eyes flashing hurt. No, I'd counter, voice steadying. But I'm scared you'll wake up one day and realize this was just another escape. Nights ended in makeups, bodies bridging words. His begging softer now. Stay with me. Build this for real. And I did. Step by tentative step, enrolling in night classes for business management. Him pitching designs to galleries. Our lives intertwining like roots under concrete. Summer scorched the city. Humidity turning streets to saunas. We escaped to the Catskills on a whim. Rented a cabin by a whispering brook. No elopement ghosts. Just us. Days hiking mist-shrouded trails. Nights on the porch swing. Fireflies dancing like errant stars. There, under a canopy of ancient oaks, he proposed again on one knee in Wildflower Meadow. Voice trembling. Ryan Whitaker, you've been my home since that rainy alley. Marry me. Let's make the memories ours. Tears blurred the box he offered. Twin bands, etched with Brooklyn coordinates. Yes, I said, pulling him down into the grass, laughter mingling with sobs. We made love there, earth cradling us, the world vast and kind for once. Climax brewed back in the city, insidious. September brought a gallery opening for Justin's show. Portraits of lost loves, mine front and center, eyes capturing that first fractured gaze. The crowd buzzed. Critics, collectors, Elena among them, flown in for support. She approached graceful, champagne flute in hand. He's brilliant. And yours. I see it now. Her words soothed old wounds. But as the night peaked, a man cornered Justin, tall, bearded, voice low and accusatory. You ghost me after LA? Then parade this fairy tale? Mark, the affair's catalyst, face twisted in old rage. Justin paled, hand finding mine. That was years ago. I'm sorry, but I'm not that man anymore. Mark's laugh barked cruel. Bullshit. Runners don't stop. They just find new tracks. He stormed out, but venom lingered. Doubts echo. That night, home reeked of confrontation. Justin paced, unraveling. What if he's right? What if I sabotage this like everything else? I grabbed his shoulders, forcing eye contact. Then we fight it. Together. No more solo runs, but the seed sprouted fast. Days later, I found him packing, duffel half-zipped, eyes red-rimmed. I can't risk hurting you. Mark's words. Their truth. I'm broken goods. Betrayal anew. Visceral. So you beg every night. Build this life. Then bail? That's the marriage you won't abandon. He crumpled, tears flowing. Please don't let me go. Fix me. I love you too much to destroy you. I shoved him back, chest heaving. Love isn't destruction's excuse. Go, then. But don't come begging when it crumbles. He left at dawn, cab taillights fading into mist. Apartment echoed hollow, his scent clinging to pillows like accusation. Lena found me days later, unshaven and hollow-eyed. Call him back, idiot. Real love's messy, not perfect, messy. Humanistic truth, we falter, we flee, but we return. I drove to Philly unannounced. Maria's address from old calls, pounding the door till he answered, disheveled, defeated. No words, just arms, pulling him close. We're both messes. Marry the mess, not the myth. Back in Brooklyn, reconstruction began, couples counseling, boundaries etched in stone. His begging ceased, replaced by quiet affirmations, notes in lunch bags, touches that said I'm here. Fall leaves turned, mirroring our renewal. Yet climax loomed, inevitable. Winter gripped, holidays a test, family dinners where Maria grilled gently, Elena's card arriving with well wishes. New Year's, we renewed vows in a justice's office. Rings exchanged under fluorescent hum, Lena witnessing with teary grin. Spring 2026 bloomed hopeful, but shadows lengthened. Justin's headaches returned, vicious, memories flooding. Not just pain, but clarity, the alley not random, but deliberate. I saw you that night, he confessed one rain-lashed evening, thunder underscoring dread. Before the blackout. You were closing the bar. I followed, high and hopeless, slipped on the fire escape. Hit my head. But the marriage? I overheard you on the phone, telling Lena about wanting someone real. I latched on, made you my savior. Revelation's knife. He'd known, from fragments, that the story was spun. Betrayal layered, but his eyes held no malice, only shame, love unfeigned. I fell for Real. Became true. Rage warred with understanding. You played me. Us. Forgive me, he begged. Last time, on knees in the storm. Don't abandon what we salvaged. I walked out, rain mingling tears, streets swallowing me. Days blurred, bar drowning sorrows, Lena's couch my refuge. But absence amplified truth. His laugh in empty rooms, his warmth a phantom ache. 2 weeks later, I returned. Door ajar, him waiting, sketchpad open to our portrait, us, intertwined, titled found. I'm done running, I said. But honesty from here, he nodded, rising into embrace. Always, summer unfurled lazy and luminous. Our love tempered in fire's forge. Stronger, scarred, authentically ours. We opened the bar together, Whitaker and Hale, a cozy nook in Bed-Stuy with exposed brick. Live jazz on weekends, no cover ever. Patrons trickled in, drawn by word of mouth and the vibe. Two men who'd stared down oblivion and chosen dawn. Justin bartended with flair, mixing Amnesia Manhattans, rye, bitters, a twist of fate while I managed, dreams manifesting brick by mortar. Conflicts lingered, human as heartbeats. His freelance deadlines clashing with my inventory runs, old insecurities flaring in quiet moments. What if I fade again? He'd murmur post-argument, vulnerability cracking voice. I pull him close, ring clinking against his. Then we remember for each other. That's the vow. Lena became auntie in spirit, hosting game nights where she'd roast our sappy asses over Cards Against Humanity. Maria visited, thawing to full acceptance. Elena's occasional emails a bridge to peace, humanity's quiet grace, forgiving not for perfection, but persistence. Fall painted the city gold. Our first anniversary marked by a road trip, Route 66 in reverse, chasing sunsets from Chicago to the Grand Canyon. In a dusty motel under star-pricked skies, he traced my scars, voice soft. You saved me that rainy night. Not just body, soul. I kissed his temple, heart full. We saved each other. Winter whispered warnings. Justin's therapy unearthed deeper wounds, childhood neglect fueling flight patterns. One blizzard night, snow sealing us in, he broke. I'm terrified I'll betray you again. Run when it gets hard. I held him through the sobs, our marriage a bulwark. Hard's where we grow. No abandonments, only choices, daily. Spring 2027 brought bloom. The bar thrived, a community hub for queer kids seeking haven. We mentored, hosted open mics where shy voices found stage. One evening, a teen, wide-eyed runaway, slipped in, echoing our alley ghost. Justin spotted him, bought a soda, listened. Hang tight, kid. Storms pass. Climax crested subtle, profound. A letter from Mark. Not venom but olive branch, apology for the gallery venom. Admission of his own regrets. Justin read it aloud, then burned it in the sink. Ashes swirling down drain. Past's ash. We're the fire. No grand tragedy, but humanism's arc. Flawed men forging light from dark. Summer swelled. Our second anniversary on that Catskills porch. Rings renewed under fireflies. No begs now, just certainty. Love as verb. Active and enduring. Yet life tests. Autumn gale. Justin's fever spiking post-flu shot reaction. Hospital lights harsh as old doubts. I sat vigil, hand in his, whispering, fight, love. We've got tomorrows. He woke groggy, squeezing back. Always. Wouldn't abandon you for the world. Recovery slow, but sweet. Nights on the couch. Me reading Kerouac aloud. Him sketching our future. A house upstate. Maybe kids via surrogacy. Bar expanding to a chain of sanctuaries. Dreams, not delusions. Winter solstice. Under twinkling bar lights. We danced to Coltrane. Bodies synced in effortless grace. Happy? He murmured, chin on my shoulder. Ecstatic. Truth. Bone deep. Spring equinox. Cherry blossoms again. We walked Prospect Park. Hands laced. A storm brewed distant, but we faced it unbowed. Two survivors. Married in marrow. No tidy bows. Life's a tapestry of threads pulled and rewoven. Betrayals scar, conflicts carve, but love romantic, raw endures humanistic, imperfect, chosen, profoundly American in its gritty hope. Years later, gray threading temples, we'd recount the alley to grandkids, fictionalized. Of course, Daddy found Papa in a dragon's lair, slayed the beast with kindness. They'd giggle, us exchanging glances, rings glinting. Every night, no begs, just I love you, echoed back. In the city's endless hum, we'd built not just a marriage, but a testament. From amnesia to authenticity, abandonment to anchor. And in quiet moments, I trace his compass tattoo, vines looser now, pointing true north home.